Thank you, Heather. So, thank you all again for joining us here tonight. My name is Zaya Lowry, and I am the Program Manager for Green and Healthy Schools Wisconsin. I am joined here with Heather Phelps from KEEP. If you want to, yeah, she did a little wave, and she'll be talking a little bit more later at the end of this presentation about the KEEP Green Team mini grant. So, stay tuned for that. But today we are joined by three awesome student groups in Wisconsin who are doing amazing work with environmental advocacy, education, different projects and initiatives, and we will be hearing from them shortly. To get us started, I did add a quick agenda so we can kind of see the flow of today's webinar, starting with the Dane County Youth Environmental Committee, then the Chippewa Falls Green Team, and lastly, the ACE Club at Marshfield High School. And again, at the end, we'll hear a little bit about the Green Team mini grants that are offered, and then have a Q&A session for all of the groups that are presenting today. And so to give a quick little background about Green and Healthy Schools for those who haven't been part of our program before, Green and Healthy Schools is a multi-agency program, and so we're ran through the Department of Natural Resources and the Department of Public Instruction with the goal of enhancing sustainability and wellness efforts in Wisconsin K through 12 schools. And so we follow three different pillars in doing that, focusing on reducing environmental impacts and costs, improving health and wellness, and then increasing environmental literacy. And right now, we also have a survey process that allows schools to get recognized for their sustainability efforts. We also wanted to highlight one of our other programs called Cool Choices, and Cool Choices is an online game that encourages students to take small actions in reducing their carbon footprint and creating a green and healthy school community. And so this game is offered in April. However, the demo game will be offered from February 10th to the 21st and allows teachers to access the game ahead of time so they can understand how best to implement it in their classrooms and school communities. And so this game is free for all K through 12 schools. And there are two different decks, K through 8 and 9 through 12. So that's different students can get a wide range of different environmental actions that they can take part of. And so if you're interested in learning more about Cool Choices or getting involved in playing the game, whether that's February or April, feel free to check out our website at ghswisconsin.org to learn more. And I also wanted to give a quick shout out to the Wisconsin Association for Environmental Education. They are currently hosting their awards. And so if you know an amazing person in environmental education, whether that's a non-formal educator, formal educator, administrator, we also recognized students through the Earth Guard Award and Student of the Year Award. And so feel free to scan the QR code and check out some of the other awards that they offer. And feel free to nominate somebody, whether that's yourself or someone you know in your community who's doing awesome work in environmental education.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. We are the Chippewa Falls High School Green Team. My name's Ellie.
My name's Zoe. I'm Chloe.
And we're going to start off by talking to you a little bit about what the previous Green Team did before us, because I think that they have some big accomplishments that were definitely worth mentioning. Sorry. Yeah. So their biggest accomplishment that they had their senior year was their project with Hope Village. And Hope Village is a nonprofit in our community that provides tiny homes to low-income individuals. And they reached out to Hope Village in an attempt to help lower their costs for electricity and create green energy as they were in search for a project. And the Hope Village was on board with the idea, so they decided their next steps were going to be to write the PSC grant in order to get their funding. And they were actually the first high school students to ever get the grant, and they scored the highest on the rubric out of everybody when they did that as well, and they were awarded $180,000 for that. And then where we started off was over the summer, we decided to get our drones license, which we had to start with a 20-hour online class. And then after that, we went to Marshfield to take a 60-question multiple choice test at a FAA certified testing site. And once we had that and we practiced with the drones for a while, we were able to get certified in Scanifly as well, which is software that, well, first you have to fly orbits around a building, and then their software program allows you to makes 3D like renderings of the buildings and will place solar panels on them to show you their efficiency and like the best placement for them as well.
Yeah, and then kind of our next big project was we did the Keep Renew Our Schools Energy program through Stevens Point. And with this, we worked with second grade classes for this competition. And that was actually the youngest competitors they ever had in this competition, which was really cool. And through this, we have the elementary very close to our high school. So at the time, we had the past green team with us. So with the other green team and us, in addition to our environmental club, we went over with the second graders and we taught them about energy usage and did different activities. Some activities that we did to teach them were we used like kilowatt meters to measure energy usage of like we did the smart boards or just different appliances. We had them make posters promoting sustainable practices. And then another cool thing that we did with them is we had them tour their school's boiler room, which they thought was really cool. And in the end of this competition, we thought it was a really fun experience to teach like the younger generation about sustainable practices. And we thought it was really cool how insightful they were. And we did end up winning the $2,000 prize, which was really awesome as well. And then another project that we did is like the last green team, we kind of wanted to do something big. So we wanted to initially write the PSC grant like they did. So we were going to try to get solar panels for our high school. And we went to like a board meeting for our school and we presented this and it was all okayed. And then we ended up unfortunately running into a lot of issues with our high school's roof and like the warranties on that. And then we also had issues with like local zoning to put the solar panels on the ground. But we did learn a lot from this experience and it did definitely help us with our future avenues and hopefully to get more solar panels for our high school somehow in the future. And then with the solar panels, we did end up getting some, just not as big as we initially wanted. For our efforts, One Energy, a solar panel company, ended up donating us a 12-panel solar system for our school. Originally, this would cost over $27,000, but they ended up paying for that. This was just produced recently also, which is really cool. And we really like that it's a visual representation of our school's commitment to like sustainable practices and a cleaner energy future. And per year, it will save the school $1,200 as well as offset our carbon footprint. And then to install the solar panel system, we ended up using the money we won from the Renew Our Schools competition to get it installed. So.
Yeah, so at the beginning of the school year this year, a local youth camp called Camp Nawakwa reached out to us and asked if we could put solar panels on their main building, the chalet, because they wanted to incorporate like environmental lessons and environmental to make their camp more sustainable. So we took our drones out there and we mapped the roof to see and used Scanify to see where to put the solar panels. But in a few months after that, we did an energy audit and found that the building had very bad installation, meaning that was like really leaky and it did not have a good air change. So instead, we changed our focus into repairing the appliances, such as like the exhaust fans, fireplaces, and water heaters, as well as to add insulation into the roof and around the building. And with doing that, in the last few months, we've been looking at grant opportunities, such as like the Anne Marie grant, as well as the Potawatomi grant. And we actually applied for the Anne Marie grant and we got it. And with that, we received $1,400 for energy audit kits, which we have an environmental club at our school that we run, so we're going to teach them how to use them. So then during the summer, we can go to the camp and teach the kids about how to use the kits around the camp and to further teach the youth like to be energy efficient. So when we're not working on our big projects, we're also going to career fairs and spreading the words about our sustainable future. So with the first green team, we actually went to Clark County where we showed high school students about drones. We actually had like a fun drone obstacle course that they were able to do, and many of them said that it was fun. We also went to CBTC and the Dane County fair, which we presented about drones being used in different industries, such as like environmentally. So that was pretty good. And we were voted the most liked at both of those. So it was really good.
Yeah. And then finally, for how can other high schoolers get involved, is the first step is probably finding an advisor, somebody who's gonna help you through all of this, because not everything is super easy to get done just as kids. And then find an environmental related problem in your school or community. Examples would be like energy efficiency or food waste. And then research different solutions to fix it. And once you get it all approved by like all of your administrators and everything, then you can start applying for different funding or granting sources, or looking like reaching out into your community as well. And then hopefully you are able to find success in that. And I think that's all we have.
Yeah, thank you all for presenting. I hope you can stick around for the Q&A session because I know I have questions, but I am going to jump over to Liam, who will be talking about the ACE Club at Marshfield High School. And then everyone, please save your questions for the end for all of these lovely students, because they're doing amazing work, and I'm sure we have questions about how to get involved. So, Liam, I did make you a co-host, so you should be able to share your screen when you are able to.
Hi, I am Liam Kaplan. I am currently going to UWSP, but I was a student at Marshfield High School last year. I was a senior. To start from the beginning, the summer between my junior and senior year, I was recommended to go and participate in what's called the World Affairs Seminar, which happens in Waukesha, and it's through Rotary. And the theme that year was youth take action with climate change. And one of the opening presentations for that was was Action for the Climate Emergency, which it was a national organization that supported high schools throughout the country in creating their own action clubs. And they used to be Action for Climate Education, or um yeah, action or something education, it's climate education, but due to recent events, they pivoted more towards action. So that whole experience was really inspiring to me, and I decided to take it back to our high school. And since the COVID-19 pandemic, there was a green team at our school, but it wasn't running for years. It wasn't like passed down and kind of got shut down and never ran after that. So I was able to get in contact with the state director for Action for the Climate Emergency and start our own chapter at our school. So it was a lot of work just to get something off the ground. I feel like that's one of the most intimidating things for somebody wanting to do something, is with my experience in high school, there wasn't a club to go to for people interested in sustainability and the environment. But my experience with starting this club is there was a lot of support out there. There with teachers and our principal were really, they didn't, perhaps they didn't understand it as much, but they really felt a need for this at our school and wanted to support us doing that. Um, excuse me. So this picture in the background here is one of the first things we were able to pull together and do as a group. We did a march for our against Line 5 in our downtown area of our city. And I think this was important to show that there was, well, first of all, a lot of people didn't really know about this issue. And even though it is much more prominent in northern Wisconsin and in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, it really takes a whole state to be aware of it and to take action against it in hopes of getting it shut down. And this was in response to the Line 5 reroute, which I can go into more detail if people want me to, but I'll skip over that for now. One of the most, oh, sorry. One of the most important things we did with this was we were able to get in contact with our local newspaper. This was in part because our state director was able to reach out to them for us, and I think they must have like paid them something to get us an article. But in other projects, we actually were able to write a letter to the editor and get in the newspaper. And I think that is one of the most important things that you can do as a club is just get yourself out there in local news and or even your high school newspaper and be a force that is visible to your community. So some of our other work that we've done, we did a lot of tabling trying to get education with the Line 5 pipeline issue out there. And this was simply using club money to like buy some snacks and have a little trifold set up with some pamphlets and having people come over, get a snack, and talk to them a lot about Line 5. And that might not be the most glamorous thing, but I think it definitely, most people that we talk to never even heard of Line 5. So it definitely worked with getting the word out there that this is an issue. We also hosted letter writing parties. Again, this was about the Line 5, where we all we had Tammy Baldwin and Governor Evers address and kind of a template with writing letters, but then we had like a little bit of pizza party and just had everyone write letters there to try to get this issue on their radar as well. One of the biggest projects we were able to do over the year, though, was our community clothing giveaway. This was one of the most ambitious projects we were able to do. The idea is we did this in spring, so it was branded as kind of a spring cleaning thing, but we encouraged people to look in their closets and think of clothes that they didn't really wear anymore and donate it to us by either bringing it to school, and we were also able to set up a donation box at one of our local coffee shops. They were kind enough to let us set up there, and we then set up a sort of free store in our school cafeteria, and then we allowed students and the community to come in and take as many clothes as they needed for free. So our goal with this was to highlight the impacts of fast fashion with, I was actually surprised the sheer volume of donations we received it was incredible. It like filled our whole cafeteria and took a lot of effort by our members just sorting through that and setting the whole thing up. But and our secondary goal, we actually partnered with the Gender Sexuality Alliance to um, the secondary goal was to highlight that clothing really has no gender, and that we wanted people to be able to take as many clothings as they need, like if they were transgender or um, non-binary and stuff like that. And that really was a huge successful event. We had so many community members come in and take a lot of clothing, and it just made me so happy because there was a definite need for these people, and we were able to help them that way. And even with all the donations and all the people that took clothing, we had stuff left over, so we were able to reach out to one of our local food pantries slash clothing place. Um, it's called Super Socks, and we were able to donate a lot of clothing to them as well. The last couple things we were able to do that were a little bit smaller, but we did put on an Earth Day march just to show support in our community for environmentalism in general. And we were able to join up with the statewide ACE organization with a Make Them Pay demonstration at the Attorney General's office, where we were putting in motion an effort to sue the fossil fuel industry in Wisconsin. And we set up a big demonstration outside of there, and we were able to talk with Attorney General. Well, he wasn't there directly, but he was able to indirectly respond to some of our questions to it. But unfortunately, in November of last year, and I was at college then already, but I did get the news that the Action for the Climate Emergency is no longer really supporting teams such as ourselves. So we don't have the funding or the connections that we had in the past. So that was a big blow to our organization, but that isn't the end of hope or anything. It just means that we'll have to work a little bit harder with getting our own money. Um, One thing we did at the clothing giveaway is we just had a simple donations jar, and we ended up making like $500 of donations. Um, so there is like community support out there, and as well as grants there, like the previous team mentioned. And we'll just have to work a little bit harder getting money from there and finding out about perhaps statewide or larger demonstrations that we can attend as a group. But they are doing a great job kind of recovering from that change, and will be continuing to do stuff like this in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much, Liam. That was amazing. I love hearing about a group that kind of started from scratch and really built their work up using community connections. That's awesome. Right now, it looks like the Dane County Environmental Committee will not be able to make it to today's presentation. However, I am going to throw it to Heather to talk a little bit about the Green Team mini grants, and then we'll finish with some awesome discussion and Q&A. So please stick around for that.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Zaya. So I'm Heather Phelps. I am with KEEP, Wisconsin's K-12 Energy Education Program, which is a part of the Wisconsin Center for Environmental Education, we provide a lot of resources to educators around the state to um, help them teach about environmental topics. So we have professional development um, uh, to help show them how to use lessons, and then we have those lessons that educators can use directly, all of them completely free. We have hands-on resources. And then we do various forms of outreach, including some directly to students. And so this is a project that's very near and dear to my heart because it is actually how I started working with Keep, and it is our Green Team mini grant program. So I really started working on this with our first large group of schools in spring 2023. But actually, the year before that, we had exactly one student group that applied and received funding, which was the Chippewa Falls High School Green Team. Yep, they were the ones who really started this off. Um, and so our Green Team mini grant program is a way for student groups to get money. So for example, with ACE, it is very challenging when groups don't have any sources of funding. And so we wanted to have a way for these groups to get a few $100s to make something happen, as well as more and more in the nonprofit sector, everything runs on grants. And so this is also a way for student groups to get that hands-on experience uh, applying for a grant and going through the whole process of planning a project and working out a budget and figuring out what steps it's going to take, and then writing that in a persuasive application that convinces an outside group to fund your project. So, this is available to any group of Wisconsin students. We particularly aim this at high schools because high school students uh, are going to be a little bit more self-directed, and we really want this to be a student-led project rather than a teacher assigning this. But we have had groups as young as fourth graders do this. And of course, they're not going to give us as detailed answers, but we do take their age into account. So we want to have this open to any group that is dedicated and really wants to do this project. So we have a couple of links that I'll just drop in the chat while I'm talking. Um, so this is our main Green Team mini grant page. But we also have here our story map showing some of the groups that we have funded in the past. The dots on the map are everywhere we have there's a school that has completed their entire application and completed their entire project. Um, the groups on the right are two examples of groups that just got funded this past fall, so they are currently working on their projects. We say that the projects are for reducing the carbon footprint of the school or the school community. So we really, for that, we're really energy focused because we are an energy education program. Energy companies are the ones who are giving us this money to give to schools. So for example, the group on the bottom there is a school, St. Thomas Aquinas Academy, that needs thermostats on their radiators so that their classrooms are a sensible temperature to learn at, and not having half the classrooms at 85 and half the classrooms at 60. That's not good for the students and not good for your energy bills either. And not good for your carbon footprint, assuming that you're using a boiler and not a heat pump, which I doubt they are with this aging, with this results. The group on the top is actually doing more of an educational project. They are from Mauston High School, and they are going to participate in the Kidwind competition this spring, where they make their own wind turbine and compete for whether theirs can produce more electricity than any other group in the state. And so last year, they used a pre-built turbine and just designed their own blades. This year, they want to create it from scratch. So we also allow educational projects where they're learning about renewable energy and then taking that back to their school and sharing with the rest of the school and the rest of the community. And especially um, in that area of the state, there's a lot of strong feelings about wind right now. So having their project is a way to talk about the benefits of wind energy for the local area and the state and the world. You could go back to the previous slide for a moment, Zaya. So, if you'd like to learn more, we do have a couple of info sessions. These are just informal, get on a Zoom call, chat, learn more about the project, ask questions. The next step is an info form. This is going to be due on Valentine's Day. You can also get it in before if you have plans for Valentine's Day. But it's just a pretty simple, straightforward, like, do you want to get smart power strips, or are you doing composting or Kidwind, just so we even know where you're starting. But then I will work with each of the student groups. We'll have another meeting talking about their project, talking about what questions they want to consider as they're writing their application. And then they'll have a few weeks to actually figure out their budget, their project plan, their promotion, and all of that. So, yeah, we really try and have the combination of the experience with grants and yeah, some projects in this world just need some money. So let's get that to you and let you accomplish what you're hoping to and have this chance to make a tangible difference in the school. And then, you know, use the data you get from that, because we definitely want the data collection aspect, to, for example, use this return on investment data to bring to the school board and say, hey, we did with $700, because that's our project size. With $700, look what we accomplished. Look how fast the payback period was. Isn't this an indication that you want to expand this to other classrooms, other schools, do the entire district? Because look what a benefit we have proved from this. So we have both fall and spring rounds of grant projects, and we hope this will inspire you to share this information with anyone you know of who might be interested in applying for one of our grants. Thank you.